Hi guys, I have had a camera review channel on YouTube now for about 4 years, going very well, if I don't say so myself, and I was thinking I should make this video because a lot of beginners ask me this question anyway. Plus I was thinking about an exercise, like let's just say I got rid of all of my camera gear. Perhaps my wife finds out how much money I spend on camera and she cleans out the closet, and then I have a limited budget to start my YouTube channel, but I still want to do my YouTube channel and my content creation. What would I actually start with if I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know how long I was going to do it? I didn't want to invest too much money, but I still wanted really good quality. And the answer you are looking at right now. The camera I have set up, the lens I have set up, and the microphone that I am using is exactly what I would buy if I had to start from scratch and I was trying to do it with as limited budget as possible, but still get this level of quality. And of course, the camera, to nobody's surprise who's ever watched this channel, is the little ZV-E10, the original Mr. Dougie, I like to call him. This one right here is the ZV-E10 Mark II. And of course, if you have more of a budget and you want to do video-centric type content creation, then the ZV-E10 Mark II is a good upgrade because it does have 4K 60 and it also has that 10-bit, so you can use S-Log and grade it a lot more easily. But honestly, you won't really need that for a long time, or maybe ever. I am shooting on 8-bit right now. I am not shooting in S-Log 3, and yet this looks pretty equivalent to what I normally do with my fanciest of cameras. The image quality in the ZV-E10, the original, is excellent. It has up to 4K 30, 100 megabits per second. You could make Hollywood quality movies on this little camera if you so desired. You just have to learn how to use your camera a little bit. Maybe watch old Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis, because I have plenty of videos, many videos on the ZV-E10 original. Now that the Mark II version is out, Sony is often discounting this ZV-E10 $100 off, so you can get the camera for $598 new if you are looking for one of those sales. And if you go on the used market, you may get it even cheaper. And not only is the image quality really great, I think its major standout feature is that autofocus. The autofocus has never lost me in all of the years that I have had this camera. I've had it now for 4 years, and it just doesn't lose focus. It doesn't flutter. It doesn't skip to the back. It puts a little box around your eye, and it doesn't lose you. It also has eye detect autofocus for animals in video as well as photos. Some of Sony's best cameras don't have that. The camera is so capable. You have a USB-C port for power delivery and charging, and that USB-C port can also be used to stream directly from the camera, which is convenient. However, you do have to remember that that will only be a 720p stream. If you want to get 1080 or 4K streaming, then use the micro HDMI port. And that micro HDMI port can be used for streaming, or you can output it to an external monitor like I like to do here in this studio. You want to know my recommendation for a cheap external monitor? I will link it below. But an external monitor is not a necessity with the ZV-E10. With its fully articulating screen, nice little flip out screen, you can see all of the things you are doing. You can set your zebra. So many great exposure tools on the Sony camera. It is so easy to set white balance. You can put all this stuff in the quick menu system, and then shooting video can be an absolute breeze. I would recommend though that you get this $10 gray card right here. Just gotta be careful it doesn't hit you in the face when you buy it. But this is $10 and it can help set your white balance. Just use the gray side, or you can use the white side if you want. It will get you a pretty accurate white balance. I have compared it to my fancy color checker, and this has a little, where I got the wrong one, this has a little gray card right here, and when I white balance the two, it always comes out the same. So don't be afraid to white balance on this $10 gray card. You can also set your exposure with your zebras in your camera, so there are videos about that on the old interwebs there. And this little target right here, that can help you set your focus if you are focusing manually. You can turn on your peaking, which is another video tool that the ZV-E10 has, and turn on your peaking, and then you can focus on that until you see it light up, and then you are good to go. And so normally with my lenses, I don't ever use the manual focus, but sometimes I want to have a cinema lens on the ZV-E10, and because it's the E-mount and it can take any E-mount lens, then you can get some nice cinema glass, stick it on the ZV-E10, and actually go ahead and make your little arty film. The ZV-E10 is fantastic when it comes to overheating. If you have the screen open and the internal temperature set to high, you are probably never going to run into overheating issues. I have streamed for hours with the ZV-E10 original. I have used it in the studio for a really long period of time, well over 2 hours. Never an overheat warning, no trouble whatsoever with the overheating. Something you should be aware of, however, with the ZV-E10 is the problem with the rolling shutter. The camera does not read the sensor out fast from top to bottom, so if you are moving your camera around or you're panning from side to side, you're going to see a lot of that jello, that wobbly effect, and that is the slow readout and the rolling shutter that you are seeing right there. Now that can be mitigated greatly. Well, if you put it on a tripod, you don't have to worry about it. If you're using a gimbal, you'll be fine. I personally, if I am moving with the camera or doing handheld, I use the Catalyst Browse program. It is a free program. Use it all the time because the camera actually records gyro data to the SD card and you can stabilize in post. Now this stabilization can take a long period of time depending on your computer setup. However, to me, it is more than worth it to get the smoothest possible footage with my little ZV-E10. So what about the lens? Well, the lens I would recommend you are looking at right now, one of the best selling lenses of all time, one of the best rated lenses of all time, the Sigma 16mm f1.4. That 1.4 lets in so much light. If you are in dim conditions, it's still going to keep focus. It's going to really help you, especially if you have an APS-C sensor, which aren't the best in low light compared to some full frame sensors. So it's great to have that really fast lens of 1.4. It also gives you a little background separation, keeps you away from the background. It has your subject in frame and has everything else blurry behind it. And at 16 millimeters, you can just reach over and touch your camera so you can manipulate your settings, but still have this nice wide field of view. I think it's absolutely perfect for a studio. It's about full frame equivalent 24 millimeter field of view, and I like that the most for talking heads, for interviews, for my YouTube or content creation. Now, the only problem with the Sigma 16 full price, it is about $409 USD right now, which is a lot of money for people to pay for their first lens. So I would recommend you check it out. Like often Amazon will have used like new condition because this lens has been out since 2016. There are plenty available on the used market. So hopefully you can get a really good deal on it. The one I have right here, I bought on the used market, Amazon reseller marketplace, something like that. And then I just got it in, saved myself $150. Now, if you can't find this lens at a price that you can afford, I would suggest you look at this one right here. This is the Yongnuo 16mm f1.8. It's a 1.8 instead of a 1.4, but other than that, this lens competes mightily with that Sigma lens, and you can get this one for under $300. So if you can't find this Sigma lens for a price you are comfortable with, I wouldn't hesitate to look at the Yongnuo 16mm 1.8. Now bear in mind, if you were going to go vlogging, you want to hold the camera out at arm's length, then the 16mm from Sigma or the 16mm from Yongnuo, it's probably going to be a little bit tight. The camera will be really up into your face. So I would recommend you get an 11mm from Sony, the 1.8, or again, the Yongnuo 11mm f1.8. But we're talking about right now content creation, studio setup, but don't think you can take out these 16 and vlog too easily unless you get yourself a selfie stick that extends a bit further. With microphones, I would go with the Hollyland Lark M2. Comes in this cute little case right here, tiny little button. You can actually reverse it and put it under your shirt and make it even smaller, but I want optimal sound quality for this video, so I am leaving it out front. And this thing can be had, you get 2 transmitters and a receiver. You can use it for your iPhone, you can use it for your Android phone, you can use it on your ZV-E10. And right now I think it's on sale for $120 for the whole kit. Now hopefully it's still on sale when you are watching this video, but even if it's at full price, this thing is a real bargain in my opinion. If you don't have a sound treated room, you don't have fancy microphones, and you don't have sound panels all over the place, I would recommend highly a lavalier mic of some kind, and I think the Lark M2 is the best combination of price to quality going. With lights, the first thing I would say is try to use direct sunlight for a while when you are a beginner. If you're outside, you're fine. If you're sitting in front of a window, that is great. The camera will look really good without you having to do much in post at all. Now, if you want to do what I'm doing and have a little studio shot, then I would recommend getting some form of COB light with a softbox. I will link some of the more affordable ones below, but I would personally start with sitting in front of a window or filming outside. So that's it. If my wife got really mean, cleaned out my cameras, this is what I would buy. This is how I would set up my content creation. Let me know down below what you would do for your content creation. We can all have a nice little discussion about it. Thanks for watching this. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.